Well, new cut video just dropped, my boys, and oh my god, I could not believe the title when I saw it, but 100 people tell us if they have a racial preference.
That's my bestie.
You. So first and foremost, before we watch this video, let me go ahead and give you guys my take. Yes, it is very weird, and yeah, low-key racist. If you have a racial preference, that is weird. Like it's weird, bruh. Like how do you like have a racial preference, or even worse, a racial, what's the opposite of a preference? A racial like unpreference? Like that is weird, champ. Like that is mad weird, champ. You know what I mean? Like to say like, oh yeah, sorry, I usually don't like black guys or black girls or Asian guys or Asian girls or whatever, or Indian guys, Indian whatever. Like that's weird, champ. Like, you know what I mean? Like me, I have a propensity to date my melanated queens, you know? Like I definitely, you know, I have, you know, maybe a type or whatever, but it's an entirely different thing to have like a racial preference. It's an entirely different thing to have like a race that you don't want to date. Like that is weird, champ. But let's go ahead and see what 100 people have to say about it.
Have you always had a preference?
No.
What changed?
I dated a white person.
What happened?
He called me a colored person, not person of color. Colored person.
Well, that's an intro. Well, that's an intro. Okay. What the fuck? Like, I think it makes sense if you want to date somebody that is, that has something related to like your experience, right? Like for me, like it'd be very difficult to date somebody who wasn't like either like black or like Latino or Latina or something like that, because like my experiences growing up are very different in this country because of like who I am, because of the color of my skin, to where like if somebody didn't have those same experiences, it's very hard for somebody to understand. And I don't say this out of thin air. I say this because I know this. Like I've dated or I've talked to like, you know, white women in the past or whatever, and there was just like this like disconnect. Like y'all know the beginning of Get Out, right? Like in out of context of that movie, like stuff like that and microcosms of events like that, like what happened all the time. Like as a black man or as a Latino or a person of color, whatever minority or whatever, like you're not trying to test no police officers, but a white person getting all brazen like, well, hold on here, sir. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, you don't have the jurisdiction to do that. You know, just like differences like that. Like it's very hard to have that connection there with somebody who doesn't have those experiences. You can be understanding and stuff like that, and you know that's great, but it's different when you have somebody that's like been through that shit. But even then, even with that, like I would never say I have a racial preference or I don't like, you know, one race over another or whatever. I just think that's weird. Like even if you did have that, like why advertise that? Why say that? You know, I just feel like it's weird to like talk about.
Do you have racial preferences when it comes to dating?
Oh, that's a good question. Well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You have a racial
Wow, that's a lot of people are saying yes.
preference when dating.
Not necessarily, but everybody else in my life says that I do.
What do they say your preference is?
Anything Asian.
Asians?
It's exclusively
Ugh.
Asian guys.
Man, the Asian fetishization on the internet that's again very weird, champ. And that's the thing, like saying that you want to date one like a particular race, it gets to this fetishization point, and that's just weird. It's weird. It is weird. And I know there's gonna probably be some dudes in the comments talking about like, well, I don't know, man. I really like the jab videos on X Hamster, bro. You're fucking weird, champ.
Is there a race that you tend to date the most?
I think black people.
Black love all day.
I noticed it when I was in grade school, but like all my crushes were Mexicans.
A lot of my friends
like to clown me and say that I only date white girls.
I love Caucasian women.
Oh,
That's probably
man.
bad for the character. Do you have
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Not slothic, bro. Oh my gosh.
a racial preference when dating?
I used to be strictly white meat, but now I'm like, okay, what, it's just one part of a spectrum of...
You know what? I can't even be that mad, man. Like when I was in middle school to high school, I'm so embarrassed by this. I suffered from the great snow bunny crisis. I did. I'm sorry to say it. I fell victim to the snow bunny crisis. I did. I'm ashamed. It's not who I am today. But as a teenager, I loved white women. It is what it is. Having a racial preference for your own race is fine, in my opinion. It's the other way around that's weird. See, like, that's one thing, but like this is why it changes with like the optics, right? Because if you were to say, oh, if you want to date within your own race, like that's fine or whatever. But then what about like if a white person says they only want to date white people? Doesn't that feel like a little weird? You feel me? I feel like that feels a little weird, So it's like, I don't know if I can really say that because it just got this like little tang to it that I don't really like.
So many flavors.
Culture, yeah, I think it depends on the culture, right? Because it's kind of what I was talking about, where like if somebody doesn't understand your like lived experience that you've had, I think that's a very big hurdle to get over, So I think it makes sense in that aspect, but yeah.
I've dated like every race of lady probably out there.
Hispanic, Asian.
White guys, white girls, guys of color, women of color.
I grew up in like a predominantly Asian area.
My community had a lot of Asian and African people. That's generally what I lean towards.
Flavors. It's like, why would you just want one flavor? Listen and different.
This motherfucker ain't shit.
Term, if she's ain't foreign, she boring.
Bro, what you trying to do? Colonize her? Like, God, like my nigga, I know you white, but Jesus Christ, not everybody gotta be colonized. God damn. This motherfucker's ancestry run deep.
I feel like you just made that up.
No, it's it.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
No.
No.
I do not.
I do not.
As much as I would like to say that I don't, when I made my eHarmony account, I was definitely only trying to match with certain people. It was pretty an uncomfortable feeling.
What does she mean by that? You know what I'm saying? Play the Drewski. What do you mean by that? Face ass.
Why was it uncomfortable?
Because I painted myself as a racist.
Is it racist?
That's crazy. I mean, W self-reflection, like, good on her for catching that and being ashamed of it. But you see what I mean? This is what I'm talking about, gang. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
To have a preference.
No.
Absolutely not. You can't be racist if you just want to be in your community.
A lot of
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think you have to think about it on like an overall spectrum, right? Like I said, like if you're like Muslim and you want to date other Muslims, like that makes perfect sense. Like that shared experience. If you're Christian and you want to date another Christian, perfect sense. If you're a Latino, you want to date another Latino. If you're Mexican, you want to date like again, like keeping that culture is very important to a lot of people. But again, like it's because of that culture, you know what I mean? Whereas like I feel like it very easily can devolve into either fetishization or just straight up prejudice, you know what I mean? That's why it's kind of like, that's why there's no like one blanket answer for this type shit.
Are attracted to people that look like them.
You like who you like. I don't think you should be forced to like someone just because
true.
Might seem racist or not.
I mean, like, I think you have to like for example, if you said if you said, oh, I don't like to date I really don't like to date Latino men or Latina women or whatever. I feel like you should like internalize that and be like, why? Why? Like what is it about a Latino or Latina that like makes it to where like you don't want to date them? Because like there's no answer you could possibly give that doesn't sound just racist. Like point blank. Like I'm trying to think, the only thing that I thought of is like maybe if there's like a language barrier, but there's plenty Latino Latinas where English is their first language. So like where is the hang up there? You know what I mean? Like, cause I think it makes sense to where like if somebody said they didn't want to date like a white person or something like that, or they wanted to date somebody who like was more into like their culture, I think that would make a little bit more sense because again, it's that cultural difference, right? But like what culture, if you said you wanted to stay within like your white culture or whatever, what is that? Like, what does that look like? What is like American culture that you'd want to stick around that another race can't also participate in? Because honestly, American culture is like the melting pot. That's like, the number one thing of like being American is that you're just American, right? No matter, what race or ethnicity or culture you come from. So like if you as a white person say, I don't want to date a Latino or Latina, then it's like, well, why not? Because there's tons of like Latinos or Latinas that had probably very similar experiences to you. So why is it that race or that culture or that ethnicity in particular that you're against dating? Because there's no answer you could give that isn't just racist.
Racist to have racial preferences.
I'd say yes, there is a problem with having a racial preference.
I think if
W-Mans. This dude's been in a lot of cut videos. I don't think he's ever had an L take. Now, I could be wrong. Do not find any clips of this nigga saying the N-word while playing PUBG, but I don't think he's ever had an L take on a cut video. I could be wrong again, but that's how I'm feeling.
I think if it's intentional and it's like, I won't date any Hispanic people, I feel like that's rooted in racism.
W take.
Most people, when they try to avoid a particular race, if you dig into their past, they must have gone through some bad experiences.
I have like internalized racism and like anti-blackness and like all of these things that I have to continue to process and work through if I want to stand in solidarity with everyone in this country.
Is there something wrong with having a racial preference?
I think if it's a fetish.
Fetish, yeah.
Then yeah, probably.
But I think that if you are looking at them in a wholly sexualized fashion, that veers into racism.
Do you have a
Like, I just think it's weird. Like, if somebody were to say, I really like Asian women, what about them? Because like people are just people. It's like, what about Asian women? Like, it becomes a fetish. It's weird. It is so weird.
Preference when dating?
I like my black men. That contrast of that skin color.
See, even then, like, you would say, like, oh, I like black men. And you would think that, like, oh, so you can't be racist. She likes black men. But that is weird, champ. She said she likes the contrast in the skin tones, bruh. It's weird. It is weird. Why can't people be people, gango?
To me, it's very erotic.
Have you ever caught shit for your racial preference?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
No.
Now she said, no, never mind. I would have just been taken aback, that's all.
No.
I don't discriminate.
Like what if this lady was like, yeah, I like black men. I like NBA players. I like football players. You feel me? 6'9" and above only. You feel me? 250 pounds of pure muscle. You get, like, I'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? Also, Vega is spitting. When people say they have an Asian fetish, they're 100% talking Chinese, Korean, or Japanese most of the time, which is even more fucked up, which is even more racist.
Preference when dating?
No.
I don't discriminate.
People think I do, but I don't.
I've never said I'll turn down someone because of their race.
I love all ethnicities. I think they're all fucking hot.
What's your ethnicity?
I am South Indian.
Do you date South Indians?
No.
So you do have racial preferences.
Oh shoot, I guess.
Yeah, now that's weird, champ. Now that's weird, champ. Why not date South Indians? Like what? That's fucking weird.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
There's a difference between saying I've never dated a South Asian and saying I don't date South Asians. Two very different sentences.
I don't think that I do.
What might your dating history say?
Well, listen, there's like a lot of white people that I've hooked up with, so that tells a different story.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
No, but like most of the people I've dated have been white.
White men.
Caucasian.
Caucasian.
I do have a preference for blonde hair, blue-eyed, Tom Petty-ish features.
I just like haven't found.
Okay, so blonde hair, blue eyes. Let's say a Latino comes around. He dyes his hair blonde. He has blue eyes. You know, then what? Or is it only a certain blonde hair, blue eyes that you like? You know, there's one person in particular that had the same preference. Tip of my tongue.
Another racial identity that I like have connected with on that level.
My previous dating history were all
Kanye West. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah, that's the guy.
white, tall, cis men. That's just kind of what I always just leaned towards and felt familiar with.
I grew up with a really large like white population.
It was who was available.
And it wasn't, definitely not a conscious decision.
There's so many fucking white dudes in Seattle.
How does the experience differ when dating outside of your race?
You have the opportunity to have different perspectives than you may have otherwise been having available to you.
I traveled a lot after college.
Getting away from Florida, going to school, having a broader worldview. Now it's much more about the person.
Do you have any racial preferences when dating?
I do tend to date white men more, which is probably why all of the relationships have been awful.
Why are you still dating white guys if they suck so much?
I think a part of me is like, I don't deserve men of color.
When you trying so hard to be an ally, you just sound racist. Like, what the? Like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, what is that? Just say you like white niggas, man. Like, you like crack. You like white men. You like what? Like, it just. Wow, what a statement that was. What the fuck?
Part of my family is really racist, and like I don't want to expose them to that.
Have you always had a preference?
No.
What changed?
I dated a white person.
I feel. Hold on. Let's unpack this real quick.
Deserve men of color. Part of my family is really racist, and like I don't want to expose them to that.
So, chat, would you if your family hold on. If your family was racist, would you A, cut off your family and not associate with them because they're fucking racist? Or would you B, never have personal relationships or friendships with black people? I feel like I'm cutting off my family for being racist, but I don't know, that's just me. It's a lot more complicated than that. Okay, obviously it's a lot more complicated than that. Obviously it is. But at the same time, like, if you're a grown adult, I'm sorry, and like your family is just racist, like there's no excuse for that. Like I've had friends, and I've also been in like relationships with people that had racist parents. You know what I mean? And like obviously like when you're a kid, I mean you can't really do shit about that. Like it is what it is. But like that shit always made me like feel like shit type. And I feel like if I was in a situation where somebody in my family was like prejudiced or racist or something, like okay, I'm just not bringing anybody around you and I don't want to talk to you because you're racist. I guess that's easier for me to say because like I am a minority. So like obviously and like half of my family is white. So like if them niggas like are racist, I'm just like, okay, well then you niggas hate me. And it'd be crazy too. Because like these motherfuckers will be racist, but then like they love like me and my brother or whatever who are minorities. And it's like, so you racist towards everybody except us, but you know there's like a whole lot of us's So like, where's the racism coming from? Like you literally like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Have you always had preference?
No.
What changed?
I dated a white person.
And what happened?
He called me a colored person, not person of color. Colored person.
That is wild. Chat, what are you doing if your significant other calls you a colored person? Would you rather be called a colored person or or a person of pigment? A POP, hold it down.
POP, hold it down.
A person of pigment is crazy.
I'm not kidding.
Do you have any racial preferences when dating?
Anything but white.
White chicks, no offense, it's been a series of bad luck.
It makes, hold on.
Anything but white.
White chick.
It makes sense why this dude has dated a lot of white women. It's giving Slothic. I'm pretty sure I've seen Slothic with the same exact shirt on. That Zelda shirt is a extreme red flag. I'm sorry, this is an extreme red flag.
Chicks, no offense, it's been a series of bad luck.
Anything other than white and blonde.
Why is that?
The super strong, important figures in my life that are male have always been of mixed descent.
I usually tend
What does she mean by that? Like, what does that mean?
to date POC.
It has to be of color.
I probably prefer people of color.
That's not to say like I was to meet someone who wasn't like of color, like I would be completely closed off to them. They would have to definitely meet the criteria that comes inherent with
Like, if hypothetically I was ever to get single again, like my only thing would be like, if I am to date you, you just have to be socially aware. Like, you have to be aware of what's happening in the world, what's happening, or not even necessarily the world, or like what's happening in this country. You just have to be aware of that. And you have to be aware of the experiences that many different people have, whether it's, people that are of different ethnicity or races or different gender identities or sexual preferences, whatever. You just have to be accepting of all that. That's probably like my only like requirement. If you don't have those things, then I just won't speak to you. Like just not gonna happen.
dating someone of color.
It's necessary, I think, for someone to be able to have some type of understanding,
systemic oppression and what we go through.
It can be harder to relate to somebody when you don't have the same experiences growing up.
There are certain things that like you don't really have to like explain.
I've dated people who share nothing in common with me in terms of culture. It's just not the same.
Because I am Jewish, like it would be so much more profitable to marry someone who's Jewish. I don't know, you get it more.
What was it like the first time you dated somebody outside of your race?
Yeah, those relationships are weird.
Yeah, I tried vanilla in high school.
It didn't click.
You have a racial preference in dating.
I'm sorry.
I have a male breathing penis pulse.
Honestly, my
That nigga a slut. He a little whore. What? That shit caught me out of nowhere. Bro. I gotta replay that. Holy shit. Yo, that shit broke my fucking ankles.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
The only preference is I have a male breathing penis pulse.
Male breathing penis pulse. Jesus.
honestly, my biggest thing is I love a beard, like a beard and chest hair.
I have like a height preference, like the last guy.
Let's talk about it. Why is it that they can have a height preference, but me, being 5'2", 140 pounds, soaking wet, I can't say, what's your weight? It makes no sense. Bro. Holy shit.
6'5". What did that kid?
6'5"? I'm sorry, let me not use that word. Woman, you look like you're 3'2", Gangalanche. What the fuck?
Drank when he was young.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
Not really.
Do you have a certain type of guy?
I don't like young guys. I like daddies.
Do you have a racial preference when dating?
I'm
queer and pan, so I just really am attracted to like
personalities.
The individual themselves is what I notice before I pay attention to what their ethnicity or race
She
is.
said, "I don't see color." That's crazy.
If I find you attractive, I find you attractive.
How can you tell that you don't have a racial preference?
I feel like my porn history is very much complicated. I love so much like gangbang and just like all of this stuff, and in that one, like everyone's there. Everyone.
The question was, do you hate black people? So I don't know why you started talking about you watch gangbangs, but I mean, go for it. I mean, I guess go ahead. I don't know. But yeah, man, chat, YouTube in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new here. This has been your boy OmegaPro. And if you don't do those things, I will personally beat the fuck out of you.